to another PSPN broadcast of Pretend Football Now. My name is Psych Manders, and joined with me, as always, is Maul Paderos. Maul, how's it going?
Psych, I am super excited, totally jazzed, and dashing as ever.
I will say you are quite dashing, Maul. That's something I've always said about you. I will back that up in court. We've got a monster show for you today. 2 breakdowns, Psych Scalpel, and we also have a very special interview. I can't wait.
It's going to be riveting. Stay right there.
Absolutely. Don't go anywhere. Let's continue on with the show. It is time, Psychomaniacs, for another edition of Psych Scalpel. Another heartbreaking loss out of Detroit as the RoboCops struggle to find any sort of traction in a home game against the Brunswick Ball Breakers. Led by Travis Benjamin, who snagged 23 points, and DeAndre Hopkins with a commanding 38 points, the Ball Breakers smashed the RoboCops like an abandoned car production line, ending their hopes at victory as surely as Detroit has crushed the dreams of its many citizens. Coach Dina, the Bridezilla, made all the right decisions, leaving nothing on the field, leaving nothing on the bench, and having everyone on the field purring like an old school Detroit V8 motor. The RoboCops, on the other hand, just couldn't keep up, led by Julius Thomas with 20 points and the strong arm of the apathetic, cigarette-smoking, never joking, no trade accepting, goose high stepping, smoking Jay Cutler with 21 points. Woo! Sadly, these two titans bravely stood their ground, which only resulted in an unspeakable drubbing. Lamar Miller, Phillip Rivers, and Jimmy Graham all sat on the bench, and if only they were on the field, they would have resulted in a tie instead of the bitter, bitter tears of Coach Bub Flipper. The riots that resulted after the game were quelled by OCP Stadium's ED-209 security units, resulting in 40 dead and 58 horrendously mutilated. After a strong start, the RoboCops seem to be stuck in the grinder. They need only to look to the automotive industry for the grim future that awaits them. But let's go over to Maul with happier news and a great interview. Maul, take it away.
All right, thank you, Psych. We have a fantastic interview this week. We are joined by Rob Gronkowski. Gronk, how did it feel to get into the end zone this week?
First of all, Maul, my name is Chief Gronk. Many moons I pray to Great Spirit. Make me big chief, heap big magic. How it feels to get in the end zone is good. Other defenses, weak men, no spirit. Big good squall for Chief Gronk.
Right. Normally we would have expected a much bigger game from you, especially considering the rivalry matchup against the Colts. Were the Colts frustrating you with their double, triple, and even quadruple coverage throughout the night?
As I say, Chief Gronk only does what Belichick command. Belichick, heap big magic. Chief Gronk just brave, warrior. Chief Gronk does what Chief Gronk must.
Chief Gronk, your chemistry with Tom Brady is unrivaled. What do you attribute this to?
Chief Gronk, heap big friends, Tom Brady. Tom Brady throw touchdown pass. Chief Gronk catch him touchdown pass. Touchdown! Big magic, big touchdown for Chief Gronk.
A few weeks ago, we discussed the locker room chemistry for the not very goods with your teammate, Devin the Funches. Do you feel that the team has rallied around Coach Dan Swanson in account of his brutal loss to his own son?
Talk about Funches. Chief Gronk hate Funches. Funches, no warrior. Funches just squall. Chief Dan Swanson, big warrior. Strong magic. Chief Gronk, catch him big heap touchdown, Dan Swanson. Chief Gronk, love football.
Thank you, Chief Gronk.
On to Hey Maul.
Our second game of the week is a game that clearly illustrates every coach's desire to be efficient. Dogs Doomsday Destroyer pulled out a squeaker against division rival Sharksville Gravy Legs 88-80. Coach Adago did a masterful job this week with 100% starter efficiency. Let's everyone give him a round of applause. The Destroyers were led by Demarius Thomas and his 23 points and a strong 18-point showing from Matt Ryan. I mean, nearly every member of the Destroyers roster scored into the double digits. Not so was the case for Coach Mike Cooter and the Gravy Legs. I mean, while Carson Palmer and his 20 points and Antonio Gates and his 18 did their part, The absolute abomination known as the Bills defense literally coughed up 4 points in the opposite direction. Eddie Lacy was also a shattering failure, scoring only 3. Sad. Well, Coach Mike Cooter was seen sucking down a fifth of vodka as he peered down his bench to see what slipped from his fingers. I mean, both James Starks and Marvin Jones put up more than 20 points, either of which would have vaulted the Legs to the win. Certainly, it's a sad day for the Dirty Pants fan base of the Legs, and a great one for our former champion. No Magoo this week.
What a riveting week of pretend football it has been, Maul. Really quickly, let's get your word of the week.
Celebration.
Celebration indeed. For some coaches, though, the sting of bitter defeat. Anyway, you've heard it first here on PSBN and on Pretend Football Now.